Good afternoon, everyone. We're all welcome to the third edition of the virtual youth town hall meeting. We're just currently admitting people. Our number is just 33 now, so we're admitting people into the room for us to be able to start the meeting. So just a few more minutes. We would like to welcome our honorable ministers to this edition of the town hall meeting. Honorable Minister Sir Sunday Dare, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development. Mariam Yalwaji Katagum, the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment. Honorable Minister Emeka Nwajioba, the Minister of State for Education. Welcome our honorable ministers. Welcome to every Nigerian youth on this platform. At this point, I will hand over to the Honorable Minister Sunday Dare to give us his first brief few words while we still get everybody in the room. Thank you. Honorable Minister Sunday Dare, sir, you may wish to unmute yourself.
Well, thanks so much. Good morning, or good afternoon to everyone. Let me warmly welcome you to the third Youth Virtual Town Hall meeting, which started 3 Fridays ago now. Let me warmly welcome the Honorable Minister of State, Industries, Trade and Investment, my sister, Ambassador Katagum. Thank you so much for joining in. And also my brother, Honorable Minister of State Education, Honorable Emeka Nwajioba. Let me warmly welcome all Nigerian youth who have joined us and who are joining us. We are promised from the very first maiden edition that we will do this every Friday. We'll keep it going because we believe that every Nigerian youth, wherever located, is important. The voice of every Nigerian youth is important and needs to be heard. We intend to provide updates as we go along, first as a Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, but also as a government. We have seen that 25 youth-focused programs are located in various ministries, departments, and agencies. We have released information about this to all the ministers. It's already in public space, it's online, it's on our website, it's on NOIA. But also we intend to launch a Facebook today where we'll put all information that is necessary and critical for the Nigerian youth to know what government is doing. There's no sound. Tell her, there's no sound. They can hear me. No sound. I hear that there's no sound. Okay. All right. So I'm glad that people can still hear me. Let me just say quickly that government continues to stay through to meeting the 4 demands. The reforms is ongoing. The reforms are ongoing. The Judicial Panel of Inquiry, as you know, have started sitting. More than 21 states have already set up the Judicial Panel of Inquiry. We have already started hearing and seeing revelations. And I think that the government is keeping to its promise. Like I said, it's a process. And what's left is to also have the youth leaders come to the table to take their seat so we can have or continue this dialogue. However, today we want to be able to speak to a few issues, particularly the economic sustainability plan, what government is doing to assist not just the youth, but generality of Nigerians under the stimulus plan. And that's why we have the Minister of State, Ambassador Katagum, Industries, Trade and Investment. But beyond that, you know that this is a conversation. We will take comments, we'll take views on any issue affecting the Nigerian youth. And we'll also take feedbacks. I have my notebook, I have my pen here. We'll take feedbacks, and also sometimes we agree on certain things that needs to be done. Let me say that the proposal to set up the Youth Interactive Help Desk and Call Center has gone forward. We're waiting for necessary approvals. And when that is done, we hope to employ 50 Nigerian youth, or even more, to be able to man that center, take calls, provide help, information, collect feedback from Nigerian youth that will be processed to government. Secondly, we have received approval, which was received way back in August. We have signaled that the 50% of that fund will be ready, but with approval of 4 billion naira to train about 500,000 Nigerian youth in digital skills. And that we hope can start in November. The information necessary to participate will be made widely available. The Nigerian Youth Investment Fund is ongoing. Applications are still being received. I just want to say beware. There are already a number of scams, people asking for money. You don't have to pay a dime, not a kobo, to be able to apply. You don't have to pay for training. The ministry and government is paying for training. There's this 2-step process. You apply, you get shortlisted, you take a training, and you get qualified for the loan. So there are quite a number of scams that we have seen. It's been brought to our notice. A statement will be issued later today, but it is clearly stated even on the website. There's no request for any money. So if you get anything different from what is on our website or the NISA website, please ignore. Do not pay any money to anyone for facilitation or for participation. Now, I will be able to provide a couple of other information as we go along, as comments and questions come forth. So I want to thank you once again. And I think that we should be able now to take some comments from Honorable Minister of State, Industries, Trade and Investment, Ambassador Katagum. Thank you very much. Get to the phone.
So much, Honorable Minister, sir. At this point, we will take Honorable Minister Katagum. If you would please like to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope everyone can hear me. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon, and good afternoon, Honorable Minister, and thanks for inviting me to this forum. And good afternoon also to my brother, Honorable Emeka, Minister of State for Education, and to all the young people here. The ones I could see on my screen, I'm somebody that's gender sensitive. I've just seen one lady. I hope there are more ladies around around our screens. So basically, I'm asked to provide a kind of update on the MSME Survival Fund of the federal government. And I'm going to do this very quickly to enable us respond to questions that you may have. As you're all aware, at the beginning of the year, we had the crash in the price of crude oil. And this administration had all along been making efforts to move us away from an oil-driven economy to the non-oil sector. So right from the beginning, we're very much concerned about the effects of that, the shock of the crash in the oil prices. And then along came the COVID-19 situation, which really stopped production in a lot of parts of the country. And this was not just a Nigerian thing. It was all over the world. Businesses were closed. People lost their jobs. And so Mr. President instituted the Nigeria Economic Sustainability Committee, which was chaired by, is still chaired by His Excellency, the Vice President. And that came up with the Nigeria Economic Sustainability Plan. And part of that plan, and the key component, is the MSME Survival Fund. So the MSME Survival Fund is basically a set of about 5 or cluster of 5 tracks of schemes. But the end objective is to enable us support the micro, small, and medium enterprises to ensure they continue production and also to prevent or reduce job losses. Now, as you are all aware, it's 75 billion naira, which is a large sum of money. But given the size of the country and the fact that in every country, the MSMEs are the bedrocks of the economy. So when at first we thought 75 billion, it was a lot of money. But now that we are at the nitty-gritty stage of actual implementation, we're seeing that, maybe subsequently a lot more needs to come into this activity. But be it as it may, the 5 tracks, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. First of all, we have the payroll support. And as the title, payroll support, is just to support the payrolls of enterprises. So enterprises within private education, provision, hospitality industry, food production, any kind of productive activity, we allow them to apply to this scheme. And basically, we're looking at enterprises that have a minimum of 3 persons, up to 50, because the MSME space, we're not looking at the large enterprises, but just those within that bracket. You go online on our website, www.survivalfund.ng, and you put in an application. And basically, you are now saying, okay, I have X enterprise. This is my CAC registration, the BVN of the organization, but I want support for 3, 4, 5, up to 10 members of staff, and you upload their payroll, because we need to see evidence that prior to COVID, you were actually paying these staff and that they were on your payroll. And this scheme, we opened the registration on the 21st of September, and we closed on the 15th of October. And right now we're going through a very, very strict checking, verification before we go on to pay. And the intention is to pay between 30,000 and 50,000 naira per individual, and for a period of 3 months. Then we have the Artisans and Transport Scheme. The Artisan Scheme looks at all kinds of artisans, plumbers, hairdressers, mechanics, and so on and so forth. This was launched on the 1st of October on the directives of Mr. President. And we had like a kind of kickoff launch here in Abuja. And what we've done with the artisan scheme is to put the states in three streams. So the first set of states included FCT, Lagos, Ondo, Anambra, and so on. And that has closed. And I'm very happy to say that from yesterday, we've received information with videos and so on from several of these states that people have started receiving their money. And for the artisans, it's a one-off 30,000 naira just to support them in whatever activity they're doing. And on the other side, you have the transportation aspect. We haven't kicked off yet, but we're going to do that very soon. So we're going to work with the Ministry of Transportation. And for the artisans, let me just remind us, both for the artisans and the transportation, we're also working with the unions, not unions, trade associations. And you may or may not belong to a trade association once you're an artisan. But why we worked with the trade associations is it's also easier for them to identify their members and for them to do bulk registration so that you don't have individuals all trying to key into this scheme. The other scheme that has just taken off just on Monday is the corporate affairs support to register 250,000 new businesses, to formalize them. Because the bane of the MSME space in Nigeria is that a lot of the enterprises are not registered. And because they are not registered, not formalized, so after a couple of years, they tend to fade out. And then they are unable, because they are not formalized, they are unable to access various schemes that are available either with government, with the banks, with the private sector. So CAC has started this for 250,000. For MSMEs, it's free of charge. But for those that are not MSMEs, we're giving a 50% discount. They just pay like 6,000 naira. And then we have the fourth scheme, which is the general MSME grants. Here we're targeting 100,000 MSMEs. And these MSMEs are those that feel they don't fit into the guaranteed payroll. Maybe it's just a one-man enterprise or two people, three. So you can then, at the appropriate time, apply and just ask for your one-off 50,000 naira grant. So that's for the general track. The last one is the guaranteed offtake stimulus scheme. Here, we're targeting enterprises in the production sector, and we're taking off whatever it is that they produce, but we have classified them into those that are health and pharmaceuticals, for example, face masks, hand sanitizers, liquid soap, and so on and so forth, and then those that are processed food. For the first batch, which is the pharmaceuticals, we've discovered that the 4 that we're targeting are produced in every part of the country. So we don't have a problem with that. So, but for the food, we've had to disaggregate by state to see what is commonly produced and kind of package that we can quickly take off from these particular states. So perhaps it could be acha that has been finally done and put in a package from Plateau. It could be plantain chips. It could be palm oil. It could be groundnut oil, groundnut cake, whatever. So we've done a kind of mapping. But to help us support or to make it easier for everyone to access this, as I said, we have a website, but we set up support centers, information or support centers in all the 36 states and the FCT. And these information and support centers are manned between 3 of our agencies. It's either in a BOI office or a SMEDAN office or an ITF office. We also have what we call aggregators. These are all localized staff that help the artisans with their enumeration, because it's not everybody that understands how to get onto the platform. But albeit this program, the whole scheme, Mr. President has directed, we must give 45% to women-owned enterprises. We must target 5% special needs. And then for the rest, all we're trying to do is to ensure that everybody, we do this in a very transparent manner. Nobody is going to get his money cash. You are going to get the money through a bank account, which has been verified with a BVN. And as I said already, we've started off the payments on the artisan scheme. And very soon, the payments for the for the payroll support will commence. It's just that we've had to do some due diligence, because where you have a large number coming up, you need to check and be sure that monies go to the actual beneficiaries. I think I would like to stop here, Honorable Minister, and then maybe later on I could take questions from our young people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. We truly appreciate. But we do have a number of questions here for you. So if you please, before you go, if you're able to answer one or two of these questions, if I may proceed. Dear Ma, we have Isika Emmanuel. He says the aggregators are no longer picking up their phone line. There is no need for MSME to register in Ondo State. Formalization support. The second one is from Ali. He wants to know what is the last stage of the survival fund. Most of the aggregators are collecting money from individuals through registration. They're not serious about the work. Please, can you investigate? Then most of the aggregators are partisan. Control state. Then what is the last stage, please? Captured or verified or activated, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Did you get all of that?
No, the last one, the last questions about the aggregators being partisan.
Yes, there's one says the aggregators are partisan in most PDP controlled states. Then also the last one was, what is the last stage, please? Captured, verified, or activated? Then there's another one which says, please, ma, is it only the employees that will be paid, or the employers too should expect something, ma? So that's everything, ma.
Okay, thank you very much. The question coming up with from Ogun State, I think I would need to find out, because, for example, when we started the artisan scheme, we had intended to, the first stream was supposed to have closed on the 14th of October, but we had to extend because of the problems with the protests. So we only just closed the first stream. But as we're speaking right now, I've asked one of my aides has actually joined us. So we're going to find out what really is happening with Ogun State. For Aliyu, we have made it clear at every point, and we've also, as I said, held 13 town hall meetings. And we've told members of the public, this scheme is absolutely free. Nobody is supposed to collect money from you. If you have an accurate report of anyone collecting money, please send us a text. Send us a text or go to if you go on your website, you will see the name of the focal person for your particular state or location. Please send him a text, but I've also taken note. I'm going to pass on this information to the program delivery office. Now, someone said aggregators are partisan, especially in the PDP controlled state. We're going to look into this because the aggregators are supposed to be neutral. As I said, our offices are manned by civil servants So we're going to follow up on this to make sure, because this scheme, we still have a long way to go, and we cannot afford. This scheme is meant for all Nigerians. It's meant for all Nigerians. And one of the things that we want to pride ourselves in is in the number of people that will say they just went to this website, they applied. They didn't have to belong to any political party or any religion or any part of the country. And that was why we also did a kind of sharing formula, with the exception of Lagos, Kano, Abia states, that we gave them a little bit more in terms of the numbers for every scheme. Every other state is getting the same. Then I think there was a question about the last stage. Well, until I look at what scheme it is, I won't be able to respond to that. But the employees, I have noticed, because I take a lot of interest, once in a while I sample to see what's happening. We've discovered that the actual employer, like I've seen in a couple of schools, the actual employer also puts his name there as one of the staff. So that is something that we're looking at seriously, because we thought he needed support to pay his staff. But we're also looking at their payroll to see if that owner is also, because there's the issue of proprietorship, and there's the issue of who is the administrative head of a school. Perhaps if it's a school principal, and we see that he's on the payroll, we could consider that. But I think it's a bit of conflict of interest when you own the enterprise and you also want to be paid from that. So I think these are the 4 questions. And for your information, I'm staying on. I'm not going anywhere. I'll wait until the program is over. So when more questions come on, I'll be able to take them. But these ones, I'm immediately alerting them in the project delivery office to contact Ogun State and the other state to find out exactly what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We really appreciate. We do have a few more questions for you, but we'll be bringing them up in the course of the discussion. At this point, I'd like to invite Honorable Minister Emeka Nwajuba to please unmute himself so he can address the young people here. Please, Honorable Minister Nwajuba, sir, you may wish to unmute yourself at this stage. I wish to mute everyone and only unmute because there is a big
I really thank you. I'm happy to see your way. It really helped by synergizing with the organization and knowing the projects.
We seem to have a little bit of issues getting Mr. Nwajuba, and there seems to be some Honorable Minister Nwajuba. So there also seems to be some feedback which we're trying to mute currently. Have we successfully done that? So we mute everybody once again, and then dear Ma, we'll take some more. Okay, so while we wait for Honorable Minister Emeka Nwajuba, at this point, we'd like to take some more questions on the survival fund. So, dear Ma, I do hope that is okay with you.
Yeah, okay.
We have some, brilliant. So we have some people here. We also have some people over on our Facebook. And on the Facebook, we've had a good number of questions as well. Someone has asked that, is there any way for them to correct their decisions once they have already made the application? They also said that there are 2 under the survival fund. that have not been activated, will they be activated anytime soon? So we'll just take those two questions currently.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. I think the first question is about correcting a submission, correcting an application that's already been submitted. Hello?
Yes, ma, that's correct, ma.
Okay, if it's already submitted and closed, then you won't be able to make any corrections, because actually on the website we did say that applicants should take all the time to collect the information that they required, which was why for the one that we thought was the most difficult or tedious application, which is the payroll, you first went through a process of creating a profile, and then we sent you either an email or an SMS with a code and asking you to start uploading your documents by the 1st of October. So right now, like for the guaranteed payroll, it's closed. We're just in the process of finalizing our checks to start payment. Now, the second question, I heard part of it about certain things not being activated. Any stream or any scheme that is not yet activated, we've just not activated it as at now. So what has happened is that, for instance, for the active scheme right now is the artisan scheme, which I had explained is in 3 streams. Stream 1 has closed, which is the one that I just reported that we're receiving feedback that people have started receiving money. But stream 2 opened on the 26th and is going to close on the 19th. And we have some specific states, and I may just read them out. It's Taraba, Adamawa, Bayelsa, Edo, Ogun, Ondo, Katsina, Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Enugu, Ebonyi. When this stream have finished enrolling and close on the 12th, on the 13th, we'll start with stream 3, which will be the last set of states. So any stream or scheme that is not yet activated, it means it will be activated in the future.
Thank you so much for that, ma'am. Okay. So we also have a few more questions. One of them is, where can they get the information? You can just share with us where they can get the information, because as you are aware, there's a lot of fake news going around. So they want to know the exact site where they can get the information. Also, which of the funds is actually youth focused, so which is just for the youth. And I believe you did speak about why are not picking their telephones, and you will be having a look into that for us. So once we just take this, then we'll move to the audience. Few people have got their hands up, so we can just take 1 or 2 more from them. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I think all the information that I've provided, you can get on our website. And more importantly, on our website, we also have the list of all our state information offices or help desks. As I mentioned, what we did in every state, we took either the BOI office, that's Bank of Industry, or the ITF office, or the SMEDAN, and created a kind of information desk or help desk. We also have, because we wrote to all the state governors and asked them to nominate a focal person. So that focal person, together with staff from the 3 agencies, are in each state headquarters. So if you go to the website, you'll find this Directory of State Information Offices. Furthermore, we have a lot of jingles on the TV and the radio. We've also had produced flyers, frequently asked questions, which have contained the basic information. And we've had these flyers in English, in Pidgin, in Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, and we've done a wide distribution in motor parks, in public places where there's a lot of traffic. So all the information is there. For those of you that are in Abuja or in the FCT, if I may say, it's the Bank of Industry office, but also the ITF office, as well as Smedan offices, because we took the FCT and Lagos as being high traffic areas. So you have 3 offices catering to your needs. So whatever you're not able to resolve either through interaction with the website or phone calls, because you have all the telephone numbers and the email addresses of the focal persons in each state and in each office. So you can contact that. When all else fails, then, you can come to the ministry, come to my office, So I think those are okay, there was a question, which fund is youth focused? For me, because we're talking about MSMEs, any of these programs, any youth can apply. Because one of the things that we're trying to do, and I had a conversation with the Honorable Minister of Youth, and that's why we put a question on an age bracket of the person applying, so that at the end of the day, we will be able to come out with data as to the actual youth, given our own definition of the age bracket for youth. How many young people have actually applied and how many have benefited? And then we can take out the profile of the youth-owned enterprises. But any of our schemes are open to the youth. And in fact, from the MSME clinics that I've attended in several state capitals, most of the enterprises are owned by young people. The startups, the new processing methods, machinery they produce, most of them are actually young people. So for us, we're just open to the youth. There is no a particular area of focus. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you so much for that, Ma. Now we move to the participants. Dear participants, we now want to take questions. We do have a number of people that have their hands up. I see Jimoh Nuruddin, I see Adet Tayo, I see Princess Adebayo, I see Michael Olosun. So please, if you just indicate like this, because I can see your hand up on the screen, but if your question has already been answered, then no need. Okay, so Jimoh Nuruddin, I will move to you now. Jimoh Nuruddin, you may wish to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Please, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Please, my question is for the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sport Development. It's on the National Youth Investment Fund. There has been some news going around.
Jimoh, I'm so sorry to cut you. But if we can ask questions on the survival fund at this time, so that we move to the youth investment fund after this, is that okay?
Okay.
If you have any questions on survival fund,
No.
that now. Then we'll the section of investment fund, then we can come back to you for that question. Is that okay?
Thank you. No problem.
Thank you so much. So I have you on standby. So if there's anybody else that has a question on the survival fund, please can I just see, because I've asked some people's questions, so I don't know if your hand is still up because your question has not been answered. Okay, Princess Adebayo, am I correct in trying to unmute you if your question is about survival fund? Princess Adebayo.
Yeah, good afternoon, moderator. And good afternoon, the Honorable Minister. Thank you very much for a time like this. We really appreciate you. My question is, please, what is the meaning of activated on the survival fund payroll? Because on the website, we saw captured and we saw verified. but some people's own is showing activated. So it is giving us a lot of concern. Please, can you tell us the meaning of activated, or we should just ignore it? Thank you very much.
I think
just need the meaning. Sorry, ma. Yes, ma.
I think I will not attempt to answer this question. What I'm going to do is ask the technical people, because if I tell you this means this, I know those, but which particular scheme are you talking about now? So that I
Payroll.
can ask.
The payroll support, yes.
No, okay, payroll. Just don't worry yourself with the payroll, because as I told you, we are in the process of doing a kind of verification, a second level verification before we start payment. Yes. So don't worry yourself. Don't worry yourself right now. I thought it was on the artisan scheme. Yes.
Okay.
So don't worry
Thank
yourself.
you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And I wish you the best.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very
Adebola.
much.
Adebola,
Yes,
that's
thank you.
Okay, so we have questions from Isaka Emmanuel and Ibrahim. So Isaka Emmanuel, I am trying to unmute you currently. You may wish to unmute yourself. Isaka Emmanuel? Okay, Isaka Emmanuel, can we please hear your question?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes, good
My
afternoon.
Minister. Good afternoon. I really appreciate what you're doing concerning the youth in Nigeria. My question is, as a youth, are you liable to register 2 companies under the?
Sorry, Isaka, I think
Hello.
we're all struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me?
I think we're struggling to hear you. So I might say that maybe try again. If you can't hear you, then leave the question in the chat section and we'll read it out for you. But try again. What were you trying to say, Isiaka?
Okay. I said as a youth, are we opportune to register 2 companies under the C?
Okay, so I think your question was, are we able, as youth, are we able to register 2 companies under the CAC? But I'm not so sure that's exactly what you said, but you can just clarify for me in the chat section so that I get the right question, I get the right answer for you. So that's Isiaka.
Let's say with one identity, please.
Please leave it in the chat section, no problem. Ibrahim Sani, we're trying to unmute you now. Please unmute yourself so we can hear from you. Ibrahim Sani.
Hello.
Hello.
So can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, my name is Ibrahim Sani. I'm calling from Zaria. My question is about the general grant. When is it going to be open? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So your question is, when will the general grant be open?
Yeah, that's my question to the Honorable Minister.
Okay. Honorable Minister Ma?
Yes, thank you very much. I think whenever Isiaka drafts that question, what I got to understand is whether he's able to register 2 companies. I think it won't be possible for you because this is a free registration and it will only be fair to give other enterprises an opportunity. So if you are able to register 1 company free of charge, I think the second company the system will not allow you to register a second company. That is on this particular program, free of charge. You can register on your own and pay for it. There is no problem with that. So it's just like trying to make sure as many people as possible benefit from the scheme. Then for Ibrahim Sani, the general MSME grants is likely to open towards the end of November, because that is a straightforward thing, because those who are who would have applied on the guaranteed payroll, they would have then seen that they've not been able to get support under that, or they have been able to get support. So it gives an opportunity for those who are not able to get support under the guaranteed payroll to now say, okay, I'm now just opting for the one-off MSME grant of 50,000. So that is why we're allowing a bit of time. So it will be towards the end of November, but we'll give enough information or enough publicity and awareness for people to know when to apply for that. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So we'll just take one more question from Kingsley Atang. So Kingsley Atang, we're trying to unmute you now. While we do that, Honorable Minister Emeka, sir, we'll be calling on you next after we just take this last question. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Kingsley Atang.
Okay. Yes, first and foremost, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I really want to appreciate the work that the ministry is doing. I'm from a civil society organization. I work for Youth Alive Foundation. So I wanted to find out how is the ministry leveraging on the role that NGOs can be able to play to ensuring that more young people get this program more accessible, looking at their experience, because we are registered with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, even here in Abuja and across other states. You can be able to verify some NGOs that you can be able to work with, and then they can help share this information, because most people are still saying, oh, they don't know this. Most young people in the grassroots, they have not got this information, but the NGOs have the ability to be able to reach out and ensure that even support them to be able to enroll. And then there's an increased public awareness of the programs that is already on ground. These programs are very, but the honest truth, most young people in the grassroots can't get this information and can't be able to access it. So organizations, NGOs that are registered with the Ministry of Youth and Sport, which they can verify, which you can verify, how are you working with them? How can you leverage the strength they also have to ensuring that there's a smooth implementation of these lofty ideas and programs? Thank you.
Okay, if I may respond to Kingsley, thank you very much for this information. If you are with us from the beginning, I explained that we have a very inclusive steering committee. As I said, my vice chair is the chairperson of First Bank, and we have the representative of NASME, the National Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, in our committee. But the media and logistics subcommittee has been reaching out to various stakeholders, and which is why in some states, we've been able to get NGOs, civil society organizations, women groups that have gone, even young people, youth associations, that in areas that they feel the information was not
Sorry, Ma. We seem not to be able to hear you. I think your mic is muted. Please unmute yourself again, Ma. Sorry about that.
It is your system that's shutting me down. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Ma, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So I was saying that we have very good examples of where youth organizations, women, and so on, have organized themselves and passed on this information, even religious organizations, and then formed groups and taken laptops, contributed money for the data, and helped members of their community to register. What we'll need to do is maybe going forth is just to widen this dragnet, because now that money has started dropping, I anticipate there will be increased interest, because people will now say, oh, so this scheme is actually real, you know? So more people are likely to come on board. But as I said, I will even give you a typical example of our trying to reach out. I think about 10 days ago, 2 weeks, the essay to the president went to the Berekete Family Radio. And once he had that session, the next day, I can't quite remember the date, I think on the 15th, the radio station had to shut down completely because they were overwhelmed by the crowd. So we're doing as much as we can to reach out. We're using multimedia, all channels, NGOs that we can reach. And if Kingsley has any CSOs that he wants to recommend to us, please send something to us on our platform and we try and reach out to them. But this is very good information. And also, I keep saying, I want to see more of the women CSOs, because we must pick up the 45% that Mr. President said must go to women, and then to those with special needs. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma. The Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Honorable Minister Sunday Dare, would like to also respond to this question. But please, Ma, don't go, because Adetayo is trying to ask us about incorrect BVN. So we'll come back to that. Honorable Minister Sunday Dare, please unmute yourself, sir. We're trying to find Honorable Minister Sunday Dare. Okay, sorry about that. While we deal with that, sorry, Ma, if you could please, so what we've got here is from Adetayo. Moderator, please kindly allow the minister to answer my question. The question is, what is the fate of the company with incorrect BVN? Would it affect their employees' verification? Thank you. So just that, please, Ma, if you could just take that.
Okay, I hope you can hear me. I really do not understand how a company would have incorrect BVN. So could he expatiate? Hello? Madam Moderator.
Sorry, Ma, I did the question again.
I said, I do not understand how a company would have incorrect BVN. So can he explain?
Okay, so Adetayo, I'm going to try to look for you now and unmute you so you can ask the question by yourself.
Because it's not possible to have an incorrect BVN. What happened? Did he input the wrong information? And if he inputs the wrong information, then you have a problem right from the beginning. So
yes, good afternoon.
Yes,
hello.
Good afternoon, Adetayo. Yes.
Yes, good afternoon, Honorable Minister. The question is, the same BVN is what I've been using, and my company has been using this BVN since inception. But while filing for this survivor form, I noticed on the portal that the incorrect BVN was written. So something was somehow not clear, because this is the same BVN we have been using before now. So that is what I just want to clear us about. What is the fate of the employees? Let's assume the company cannot be taken care of. What about the employees?
Well, what I was trying to say, if the company BVN is incorrect, my suggestion, if it says it's incorrect, my suggestion is, I don't know from which state you are calling or whether you're in the FCT, try and reach the information center or send an email, because you have on the website, you have focal persons for each state, and then you have officers, whether in BOI, SMEDAN or ITF, send an email. Because if right from the company there is a problem, then you know that there will be a problem with the employees, because it means the company and the BVN are not matching. And one of the critical things we're looking at is a BVN, a verifiable BVN of the business owner. So my suggestion to you is quickly send an email. If you're in the FCT, you have 3 offices to go to, send an email with whatever it is with your complaint, and I'm sure the technical team will help you look at it. But really, really, we're actually verifying these things with the banks. So that is the situation. So the earlier you do that, the better, so that your employees do not suffer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Ma. So we'll get the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dare, to also answer that question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kemi. Honorable Minister of State Industries, I also have a question to ask you on behalf of the Nigerian youth, if that is okay.
Yeah, sure.
I have had interactions with a sizable number of the youth in the last few days, and the question keeps coming back. In Oyo State, for instance, they don't even know that the 250,000 new businesses to be registered for free is actually a project of the federal government of Nigeria. That's one. 2, they don't even know it's existed. They don't even know who the contact person is. But more importantly, the aggregators that are chosen have stopped picking the calls of the people that want to register. So it seems to be a problem in about 3 or 4 states that have feedback from the youth. And it would be nice to get a feedback. And where can they find that information about who the aggregator is, about who the person in government, because there's someone in government that is responsible, so that they will know exactly who to contact and how to go about it. To reply, Youth Alive Foundation, you talked about the CSOs and NGOs that are registered with the ministry. About 6 weeks ago, we announced again that we want to update our database. And we asked our CSOs, youth-based NGOs, to come to the NYSD website and register. That is still ongoing. Our plan is to work very closely with them for public awareness so that it can reach the grassroots. In the next 1 or 2 weeks, we'll be inviting a sizable number of them. We'll walk them through several of our programs and also the NYIF. But more importantly, we're waiting to get all data from ministries, departments, and agencies who have youth-focused programs. So that once we have all of those data, we can be able to present that to the NGOs. We also take feedback from them on how best to create an awareness campaign that trickles down to the grassroots. So we have you registered. We have several others registered. We've opened the window for that. And as soon as possible in the next 2 weeks, when we have key information that we need, we'll interface with you, and then we can be partners in making sure that this information is communicated timely and in a comprehensive manner. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I think somebody had asked a similar question, but the case with Oyo State, I'm going to call the Registrar General, and perhaps before my colleague, the Honorable Minister of Education, makes his presentation, we'll have a response to that. But what I know is that the CAC had put up an advertisement in the newspaper with the names and contact persons of where to go in every state to get assistance for this registration. So I was trying to go through my phone to see if I can pick up the information with reference to Oyo State. But I can assure you I'll get back to you just in a few minutes. I don't know if I'm still on because this thing. Hello?
Yes, ma, you're still on, ma.
Yeah, I'm still on. Okay, so I'm going to get to the Registrar General of Corporate Affairs. But as I said, when they advertised, there was a full page which has the information for each state. But this issue that somebody is claiming it's their project that is not a federal government project, that's very serious. And then the fact that the aggregators are not answering their calls. So I will get back to you just in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma. Honorable Minister, sir, we are muting you now, sir. Sir, no, you're still muted, sir. Okay, you're on now, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kemi. Just need to return very quickly to the NGOs and the CSOs, because I think that right under our national youth policy, we had actually identified them as critical stakeholders because we need them to be able to, as vehicles to deliver not just information, but also some of the projects and initiatives that we have. So it's a three-stage process. First is the guidelines development, to draft a guide, to have a guideline that will be used to manage that engagement. We have a three-step process where we're working on those processes. I just want to assure that youth NGOs will see a more direct participation in the initiatives and projects of the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport. If you're able to go to our website, you will see under Ministry's engagement with youth NGOs, National Youth Policy, you will see the three-step process we're going through so that you can have some comfort and know that definitely you are critical stakeholders and we're going to be able to work together going forward.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, sir. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister Ma. Just one comment here. Most of the results returned incorrect for those using Jais Bank. Talking of payroll support, is there any room for correction? So we would find an answer to that question, Anas Suleiman Mohammed, and get back to you. The web link for NGO registration for the database will also be shared in the chat section before the end of the conversation. We've not been able to locate Honorable Minister Mwajuba so far, so I would, while we're trying to locate him in the chat section, we'll get back to him. But in the meantime, I do have a number of persons that have raised up their hands. I can see Ambassador David Ibrahim. Ambassador David Ibrahim, you spoke last week. I'm not so sure I should give you the opportunity to speak again. But if it regards to the funds, then no problem. Please unmute yourself, Ambassador David Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Ministry of Youth. I actually bring good news. So, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
I bring good news, and I want to direct my good news to the Honorable Minister of Sport, Youth and Sport. I got quite a sizable positive feedbacks after Friday's interaction, and I am particularly grateful you kept to your word, and this is an ongoing process. Some of the persons that gave good responses that followed the program, some of them were a huge critic of this administration, and to hear their fellow young people express themselves, it was a turnaround. And I am a very sensitive person when it comes to that. And I want to say thank you. What has started is going to be a bedrock for the new Nigeria we are all building. And another good news is this. After the session last Friday, a team of young people met me. They have been developing a youth television, an actual youth television that will run on several platforms, free to air, and subsequently on DSTV. It's called the Independent Youth Television, youth driven. And I was so excited about the process. And by next week, we should be sending you details on how we can collaborate. They can collaborate with you also. That is the good news coming out of this Friday's encounter, because they didn't believe that there can be interactions like this. And these projects have been dormant until now. And very importantly, before I round up, several things we have been saying here from the Ministry of Trade and the rest, great ideas. But you realize that 80% of them are only communicated through NTA. Most of our young people don't watch NTA. So with a forum like this, a platform like this, I know you have tried to communicate information, but information bounces back also. We're going to be working a lot with you, because I told people it's one thing to protest, to raise your hand and cry out. Another thing to have sustainable structures on ground that can help lasting development. So that's why I'm really grateful for what is happening. And there is a lady from Benue also, after the Friday event. Guess what? They are running a twin talking on restiveness and all that. Action, continuous action has a way of changing the order. Our socio-economic terrain can be affected by positive actions. In conclusion, I have one simple request again. As I said last Friday, let this continue. I know the honorable ministers, they are very busy people, but right now, as somebody notified last week, the Ministry of Youth is one of the largest ministry, or I think it impacts on the largest cluster of people in Nigeria, young people. You need our support, you need prayers, but we will keep doing that. I want you to give it everything you've got, because at the end of the day, this critical mass made of young people, they are major stakeholders in the development stride and drive for Nigeria. I want to assure you without words, we are going to give you every support we can. The day the Independent Youth Television will be unveiled, you'll be the one, by God's grace, to unveil it. I'll speak with the team and let them know. It will be a youth-driven television. Right now, we are training 20 program managers for 20 states. We'll make it 36. And it will be young people driven who affiliate with the other organizations and team. And we're going to collaborate with the Ministry of Youth. And let's see how young people can have platforms, new platforms to express themselves using entertainment, music, art, technology, and all that. I believe in solutions. After pointing out what we think is wrong, let us proffer solutions also. And in conclusion, governments cannot do everything. They can activate a process. We will take it over from there. And I like the open door policy. I want to thank Madam Miriam Katagum. I love what she said just now. If you try it anywhere and it's not working, come to my office. I owe you a bottle of non-alcoholic wine, madam, for that statement. That somebody can come to your office. It's new. It's a new narrative. Let us continue it. The Honorable Minister of Youth has started himself. Come and meet me. And that is government for you. When somebody has a sense of belonging, there's no need to carry stone, stick, or placard. When I feel I don't own a process, that is when I get agitated. What you have started right now, whatever problem, we will help you fix it. It's not money. Everything is not about money. Relationship is powerful. Relationship is powerful. I say it again, relationship is powerful. I say it for the last time, relationship is powerful. It is stronger than gold. It's stronger than naira and dollars. So we are building a relationship. It will last by the grace of God. Thank you, Honorable Minister. And I pray, please let Doshima speak. Tell us how she's doing in Benue. And Doshima, should also meet the Minister of Trade because she's mobilizing young people to showcase the trade in Benue, thousands of produce from Benue. And the good news, somebody has ordered oil from New York on that platform, 250,000 naira worth of oil from Benue from young people. I think we should applaud this lady. I was impressed when I heard it. This came out of the Friday meeting and was confessed to you. So I'm sure Ms. Doshima will speak later and let her meet the Minister of Trade herself. Thank you very much, Kemi. Take it over from here. God bless you. And thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much, Ambassador David Ibrahim. We truly appreciate everything that this town hall meeting is able to achieve. We would look into everything that you've said, would look into everything at the back end, as you know. I'm trying to unmute Doshima now. Doshima, I'm trying to locate you and unmute you. So please try to unmute yourself now. There we go. Doshima.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Doshima. Sorry. I'm actually on the field, so my neck is shaky. Couldn't follow up much when my director was speaking. But I'm running a project that is called B, and I must recommend Benue Youth because I've seen in recent times that a lot of them are taking into agriculture, and we're looking for several ways to be able to boost this and take it to the next level, so as to be able to reduce crime and all of that. And so to us, the project B, the welcome development, is something that the Benue Youth are very excited about. We are really so that we'll be able to take it to the next level. And I also want to encourage other states because so far I've seen how much impact it has had on the Benue Youth. Yesterday we started our trade fair and we had a lot of young people buying, selling on the platform and all of that. It's been a wonderful experience. So please, as much as the Minister of Youth and any other person who is in charge can help take this project to the next level, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak. Hello.
Thank you so much, Doshima. At this point, I'd like to invite the Honorable Minister, Youth and Sports Development again, where he'll be talking us through a brief presentation. Honorable Minister, sir, you may wish to unmute yourself now, sir.
Okay, hello, Kemi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, let me, before the presentation, let me quickly respond to Doshima. Doshima, you have to provide us some details about your project so that we can see how we can help you, but also how we can link you up with one or two ministries that are tangential to the effort that you have. As Ministry of Youth and Sports, we can also, after understanding what you're doing, encourage it as a model for other states or other youth groups that they can adopt. But I want to thank you for what you're doing with the young people. There are various areas in which our youth can participate. So I want you to be able to get back to us. We'll have to get your number, your contact details, so that we can see what you're doing and see how we can provide support. Ambassador David Ibrahim, the Independent Youth Television, is a great idea. We'll also want to be directly in touch with those behind this television. Not to take the idea, but to embrace it and see how we can support them. In fact, they can also benefit from the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund. The ministry on its own has been trying to develop, working with the private sector, a different kind of Big Brother Niger, same format, but with a different content focus. And I think an independent youth television at this time will be critical and important, but we know that it's about the content. We have experts in the Ministry of Youth that can help with content development, but we also partner with our youth. So we want to get information about these people working on this project, and then we can also support them in whatever way possible. Government is committed to that. Finally, we have a deal office. We have opened a deal office in the Ministry of Youth and Sport. And through that deal office, when you come and you cannot see me, we have scheduled officers, about 5 or 6 of them, in the deal office that can provide you with information that you need about our programs, but also can assist you with information about other programs that are youth-focused and are currently running in the country. You might want to ask me what deal is, and I know there are quite a number of questions on NYIF. But I want to go through a short, maybe 5 or 6 slides. DEAL is D-E-E-L. And if you Google it, you will see that it was presented as a new deal for the Nigerian youth sometime in November last year, about a year ago. And this stands for Digital Skills Acquisition, E for Employability, E for Employment, and L for Leadership and Training. What we're going to do right now is let's just pay very close attention to the screen. Let's just read what's coming up on the screen for now. I will speak very scantily. Under each letter, we have projects and initiatives that are ongoing. Can we move on to the next? Under Digital Skills Acquisition, we have the dy.ng, Digital Youth Nigeria, committed to providing digital skills for 500,000 of our youth. And we just announced that will start very shortly because we have the funds. We have robotics and artificial intelligence training. Kemi, you can move on. Next slide. We just concluded our 60-day app challenge on November 1st, which is the first National Youth Day. The winners of the 60-day app challenge will be announced and they will be rewarded. We have the mobile device training repairs still under Digital Skills Acquisition in partnership with the local content management board. That is currently ongoing. We announced the onboarding of our youth for that. Kemi, you can move to the next slide. We have started a partnership with IBM during the COVID-19 in April. There's an e-learning platform between IBM and the ministry, Digital Nation under IBM, Digital Youth Nigeria under the Ministry of Youth and Sports. At the last count, I think we've trained over 14 to 15,000 Nigerian youth who have gone on the platform and have been IBM certified in different digital skills. About 3 weeks ago, Google partnership, they reached out to us. They are working on the final details of the $3.7 million that they will provide to support our youth and youth businesses. They call it the small, medium businesses for our youth. They're also committed to providing training for about 500,000 youth. The details of that will be ready. The portal will be opened jointly by Google and the Ministry of Youth, and there will be no conditions. So long as you're a youth and you're qualified, you can just apply and benefit from it. There's also the Microsoft partnership. So all of these are under D, Digital Skills Acquisition. We've assembled strategic implementation partners from IBM to Google to Microsoft to even what the ministry and government has designed, and that is ongoing. This information is already on our website. Let's go to the first E, entrepreneurship training. Entrepreneurship training. The whole idea of the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund is to capture and turn our youth into entrepreneurs. And they need some capital, they need credit, they need access to finance, which is very less cumbersome that we've known. And that's why the NYIF was approved and established in July. You can see we've moved very quickly. Within 3 months, we've already rolled out. Applications are ongoing. And I want to say, we've seen a number of scams asking people to pay for training, asking people to pay for registration. Application is free. Training is already paid for by government upfront. So do not fall for any of this scam. Please, very important. The focus here is that it's training into enterprise. We want to train our youth so that they end up as entrepreneurs. No longer just training them and throwing them in the job market again. So we're working on the concept that is end-to-end and is training into enterprise. Let's go to employability. Employability. Most of our youths are unemployable because some of the certificates they've earned in today's digital economy is impossible to work with them without having the added advantage. Very often what we get is that once you don't have any experience, nobody will want to take you on a job. So we came up with the work experience program under employability. How do we also increase the employability of our youth? Of course, through giving them digital skills, that's important, through training them in business management, but also through giving them the opportunity to work directly and get cognate experience. If you're a civil engineer, we are able to place you in the civil engineering department of Julius Berger or Danta Tansawe or any top engineering company. You can go there for 3 months. The ministry will pay your stipends for 3 months, but then you must do it in the state where you're a resident. We have started that already. We just got approval for some funds now. We already onboarded 250, and then we'll go on. We have almost 50 different companies across the country that are ready to take on our youth interns for 3 months. So when we release the data, you can see which companies are in your state, and you can apply as the case may be. Kemi, leadership and training. The last part of DEAL is leadership and mentoring. And you know, I keep saying the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, but unless we train them today, unless we empower them today and support them today, unless we teach them today and give them the opportunity, they cannot be leaders tomorrow. So we have an agency under this ministry called the CLTC. They have a very functional e-learning platform. The CLTC, first based in Sierra Hills, is one of the oldest training arm that we have for all in government, but we're opening up to the youth. You can learn a lot. We also have the Nigerian Youth Parliament, which is our youth across the country. Very strong. They're getting training in legislative processes and are part of any youth-related matter and issues that we deal with. So by and large, that's what DEAL stands for. And under each of those letters, there are programs that we have. This information is available. Some of the programs are ongoing, and you can find them. We also have NOYA, the Nigerian Online Youth Assembly. Nigerian Online Youth Assembly, NOYA. Established, test run, and is an aggregate website for opportunities for our youth. If you visit NOYA, you will see several opportunities. Of course, some of them are time-bound. We constantly update. It is an aggregator website where our youth can go to and see opportunities that they can get in Nigeria, across the continent, and globally, from private and public sector. We think that's important. Presently, we're engaged in two campaigns to create national awareness. One is the campaign against rape, and also the campaign against police brutality. We're fully engaged at different levels of this national awareness campaign, and we will remain committed to this. Thank you very much, Kemi. I'd like to call this person.
That was a great presentation, sir. At this point, Honorable Minister Miriam would like to speak. I could see she had her hand up at a point. Honorable Minister Ma, I'm trying to unmute you now.
Thank you very much. First of all, my apologies. I said I would have to leave because it's 1:30 and there's Friday prayers today. But to give feedback that I called the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs yes, there was an advert by the Oyo State government, which sort of claimed that the registration was an initiative of the state, but he said they have since brought down that advert, and the CAC has actually put up another one debunking that that claim. And then they've also put in jingles in the two FM stations within Oyo State. Then on the issue of the aggregator, first of all, he said they've received several complaints about the aggregators, and they've now requested or instructed that applicants have the option of going straight to the corporate affairs website, download the form, attach whatever documents there are, then send it to the email address of the aggregator, so that you do not have any more physical contact with the aggregator. So that is the way out, because usually when you use technology, you're able to reduce human interference, and then you're able to reduce people who want to make claims where they shouldn't make any claims. So those are the two ways. And then he said, sometimes be a bit patient, that the aggregators are getting a lot of phone calls. So it may be that you're calling at a time when everybody else is calling that same aggregator. But the best way, and which is what I suggest, just go through the system. Ignore if you can't reach an aggregator, go through the system and make your submission. So, Honorable Minister, thank you very much, because I really have to go. And thank you all to the youth. And as I said before, I want to see more female young people on the town halls, in subsequent town halls. So thank you very much. Take care. And thank you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. We really appreciate. It's unfortunate you have to leave us at this time, but I do guess we're almost done anyway. All the information that we got from you is much appreciated. If we do have any more questions for you, Ma, we'll bring them to you at the back end, and we'll get the answers before the next week's meeting. So we'll give everyone the answers by next week's meeting. Thank you so much for your time. I know I speak for most of us here, if not all of us, in saying thank you, Ma. We truly appreciate. And do have a wonderful afternoon and a wonderful weekend. At this point, I'd like to call George Enema. I hope I've got your name correctly. Mr. George, if you'd like to unmute yourself and speak to us. I'm seeing a question of when is the next meeting. The next meeting is the same time, same place, same URL for you to get in here next time. Is that Mr. George?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. George.
Okay, thank you. Very quick one. Fortunately, the minister was able to answer some of my questions that I asked earlier on, but this is just a contribution now. I did ask around the mentorship programs and all that, because last year, can you hear me? Hello? Yeah. Okay, because last year, like I mentioned in one of my charts, I picked up about 5 young people over a radio program to mentor them using the strength-based development. I have a solution that talks about people focusing on their areas of strength. And in 2 weeks, these guys all got engaged, 4 guys and 1 lady. And so that's why I believe that repurposing and redirecting our youths will make them engaged, and then youth restiveness and all that will be under control immediately. Now, thank God the minister also had talked about initiatives with IBM and Google. Now, what we need is to create more awareness. Around me here in Ikeja, I've gone out to speak with a few young people on the street, like people who have hairdressing salon, young people who have makeup studios and all that, but they don't know about this, and most of them are struggling. The minister did talk about flyers and all that being used. Last Friday, he talked about something that will be done around using flyers to create greater awareness around community engagement. So I was trying to remind him about that. Then I asked also around the National Youth Day. That was a great initiative by the minister to say that November 1 or so is a National Youth Day. I was asking what are we going to do this National Youth Day, with all the activities? I think there's a lot that day can signify in terms of redirecting and reframing the minds of our youth into something more tangible. And I commend him for the Big Brother initiative he talked about. If you saw me, I was clapping, because that's something that I had never had thought of how best to redefine that. So if you're looking for volunteers, mentoring programs, be sure that you have a lot of Nigerians either in the corporate or in the private practice that are readily available. Thank you so much, sir, because we're going to have a great nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. George. Your comments have been taken on board, and it's nice to know that we do have a lot of volunteers that are willing to carry on the good work. Thank you so much for that. I'm just scouting around to see other people with their hands up so we can take you on. There is a question that says how can they replicate what Doshima is doing in Benue State? Doshima has left her details in the chat section. You can contact her there. If not, contact us and we'll be able to figure out together how we can replicate this across our nation. I believe we'll take one more question at this point before we move back to the Honorable Minister to answer our questions. Coded Mike or Coded MIC, is that Coded MIC? Can I unmute you, sir? Coded
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Moderator, good afternoon to the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sport Development. I appreciate this opportunity. My question is directly to the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sport Development. Some months ago on Twitter, he directly contacted me that I should send some, let me introduce myself before I start. I'm an artist, a musical artist, a ready to blow one, but I lack funds. So he actually, I lack funds. So he actually tweeted at me that I should send him a detailed email of my plans and everything I want to do, which I did. So honestly speaking, I was contacted from his office that I should, try to buttress what I sent through the email, which I did. And then I told the person that called me, because somebody called on his behalf. So I told the person everything I want and what I expect the ministry or the government to do for me. So they said they will get back to me. And since then, I've been asking myself what I didn't do well or what I failed to do, because since then I've not gotten any feedback. And I would like to direct this question to the Honorable Minister so he can tell me what I should expect or what I should do to give. Yes, thank you.
The question is, where is your feedback? No problem.
Yes.
I would personally take that up and I'll personally look for the feedback for you. So we'll get in touch with you once this meeting
And I can respond to him.
Oh, yes, sir. Please do. Honorable Minister.
I can respond to him. Yes, I recall I got in touch with you and I actually got one of the top music producers to speak with you. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah, I got in touch with you and I actually asked one of the top music producers to get in touch with you. Because what you have done is also has proprietary rights. We're careful to make sure that your effort and talent is not credited to someone else. That's why I wanted somebody professional in the music production industry to work with you. And he had told me that he had reviewed your tape and he was waiting to schedule you. He also asked you a few questions. You recall? I don't know whether you've been able to respond to the questions. What I'm going to do is I will ask him, for the benefit of this meeting, I will ask him to get back with you. But also, I know I remembered that I wanted you to apply for the NYIF fund. If you are into entertainment and creative industry, you can apply for the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund. and you can get funding from there. Apart
I've
from
done
funding from there, the person that called you, they are also supporting. They have a production company. They have a label. I can't mention their label, but you have his direct contact. I will contact him again to please engage you and see how we can help you. But please also apply for the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund, where you can get up to 3 million or 5 million. But also from the person I connected you to, you can get a lot of professional support. And I think that's what you need, since we don't have music experts in the ministry. I wish you the very best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I'd like to call on Ginger Soul Lifestyle. Ginger Soul Lifestyle would like to leave a few comments. Ginger Soul Lifestyle, if you can unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome, awesome. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. All protocols duly observed, and thank you all so much for this initiative, first of all. This is amazing that there's a youth town hall meeting. It's open to the public. Once they're aware of it, they can attend. I think I've learned so much from just being a participant this afternoon, listening to the Minister of Industry and then to the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports Development. A lot of what I heard centers around participation and really gathering critical mass. Thank you for the invitation, Kemi, which allowed me to be here. It would be great to know when initiatives like the town hall meeting are coming up and or other activities where we're looking for mass engagement. I heard the Minister for State and Industry talk about women involvement in particular, which is an area that Ginger Soul Lifestyle is very committed and dedicated to. And one of the things that I often struggle with is what next, you know? So we can engage them, we can do our own little activities, but how do we connect them to something bigger? How do we, you know, really help them not just see and hear, but feel the impact of the government who's working so hard to serve them? But, you know, it seems like there's just always that gap of how does the average person connect? And it's amazing to hear people just talking about their individual experiences, the DEAL program that's going to train 500,000. You know, how do people get involved in this? Is there a nomination process? How do the applications work? And how through my platform could I help, you know, bring on or maybe sponsor a number of young women? That would be very helpful. And I must first of all say before you answer me, well done, sir. I'm very inspired and motivated by the way you drive your initiatives and the community involvement and really being intentional about bridging that gap from, you know, the masses to government so that you're not so far away, which is something we haven't seen regularly. So we're definitely very grateful for this. This is very inspiring and encouraging. Well done, sir. And
thank you so much, Ginger Soul Lifestyle. Before I hand over to the Honorable Minister to speak with you as to how we can collaborate with the organization, I have a few people that have told me in the comment section that their hands are hurting from raising up their hand for too long. Mr. Jimo Nuruddin.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Jimo Nuruddin, I'm looking for you now to unmute you. Have we found him? Yes, so Mr. Jimo Nuruddin, we're unmuting you now to hear your comment or your question.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Ms. Kemi.
Where did you get this?
Hello? Hello, sir.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Jimo.
Hello, thank you. Good afternoon, the Honorable Minister.
Good afternoon.
My question is for the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sport Development. Concerning the Nigeria Youth Investment Fund, there has been a news on Facebook. There was a group page created, a Nigeria Youth Investment Fund, And there's been a message flying around for about 2 days ago now that in some set of people have been shortlisted and they have been trained. The second batch are also waiting to be trained. And something of such baffles some of us that are even registered, and we are waiting response from the ministry that how come something of such is happening. So if I thought the information is genuine, we want the Honorable Minister to help us clarify. And if it's not genuine, the minister should help us work on to bridge the communication gap between the participant and the ministry. My second question is on the CBN framework released about 2 days ago for those that will be qualified for the NYIF. They made mention of those people that applied for NEFSA and the likes and the TCF, and that they are not being paid, that they won't be qualified, which on a personal note, I feel that is a means of trying to shortchange us, because for the AGMIS program in particular, for the NEFSA, we have had a training since around March, early this year. We had an interview, and up to now, there's no any response from them. And something of such, we couldn't even count or rely on it that after all, at the end, we are still going to benefit from it. So using that as a yardstick to disqualify us, to me, it seems they will be shortchanging a lot of youth from the program. So that's my question, which I would like the Honorable Minister to help us clarify on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dimo Nuruddin Kayode. Honorable Minister, sir, if you permit me to just take one more person, we have Mr. Gbenga Ibidakpo. Mr. Gbenga Ibidakpo, you may wish to unmute yourself at this time so we can hear your question or your comment. Well, I think you said you have a question.
Yes. Good morning. Sorry, I'm in the morning here. Good afternoon, moderator, and good afternoon, Minister, and good afternoon to everybody on this platform. Actually, this is my first time of joining this platform. I've seen Honorable Minister did post it on Twitter a lot of time. I think this is like the third Fridays, and I kind of appreciate what you just said to Mr. Kodet, just trying to give a feedback. But this goes to Honorable Minister due to the fact that he's a Minister for Youth and Sport. So it's just it's a question, but in a way just asking from my perspective. So in the sports section, I feel like looking from the top, from the men's side to the women's side, looking from the top, I feel like there is no, from the coaching aspect, there is no youth really involved, just from my side. And I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking for every other person. I'm a coach myself, a certified coach for the matter. I have the license is required, but I feel like if we have been inducted into these areas at the earliest side of it, we can actually gain more experience and exposure due from the DDL thing he said, when he said employability, where you cannot get a job because you don't have the experience. But when you work under this so-called experienced merchant, right, you will gain the experience. Just the sight of something. The real Ronaldo, which is the Ronaldo de Lima, was put in a World Cup at the age of 19. He was a 19-year-old in the World Cup, and he became, even generations would learn he's the greatest striker of all time because he was put there from the early beginning. So just my question thrown to the Honorable Minister is, because there was a lot of eyebrows when Ladan Boso was being appointed as the under-20 coach, I don't have a problem with it. Just because, you know, he's been there 10 years ago, I think 15 years ago, and he's coming back. So are we saying that there are no capable people? Because I feel like there's nothing to lose. If we want to put youth into it, let's see how they can do it. But as far as I'm concerned, what is the way forward? Like, what is the plan for the Honorable Minister? Because at the end of the day, if there is no youth in SATED, I'm not saying we should be head coaches from this. We can be the third coaches, the fourth coaches, the fifth coaches, and everything. Like I said, I had to wake up as early as 6 o'clock just to join this, just because it's important. I know I'm in diaspora, but God bless me, still my country, and I wish for us to go forward. So that's just my question. I don't want to take too much time. What is the way forward? Are we planning to induct these people into places? Because when I look into it, all I see is there is no youth involvement in none of the A to Z coaches, you know. And like I said, a licensed one, FIFA licensed coach, and that's just it. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kenga Ibidapo. May I hand over to the Honorable Minister at this point to respond to the questions and comments that we have so far? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kemi. I wanted to find out, I know George Enema asked a question. I did miss that question because I lost my connection. Are you able to let me know what George Enema asked, or what was his contribution?
Okay, so I'll try to look for George Enema and get him on next. Please, can we find George Enema?
You had spoken to him. You spoke to him earlier.
Okay, sir. Would like him to. Okay, we'll get his question and give it to you shortly, sir. So, sir, if you may.
All right. We'll let me walk through the questions and the responses very quickly. Yeah, the lady that spoke, I don't recall her name, but she spoke to the need for. She's excited about the digital skills program. She's happy that there's information, but the need to have more information in the public space so that people can know what is on offer. That is well taken. We're activating several platforms, a Facebook platform, a chat room. We want to meet the youth on the platforms where they play, basically. We know that not everyone listens to NTA, so we'll put it on NTA for those that listen to NTA. Don't forget their parents. A lot of youth also have parents, and then parents that watch NTA can also talk to their youth. But as much as possible, in spite of the financial implication, we will social media platforms to make sure that this information, comprehensive and timely, offered. Let me return to NYIF because the speaker raised some very critical and pertinent issues. One, the guidelines are very clear. Very clear. We've seen a number of 1 or 2 scams running, and that has always been the bane of the internet and also social media. Virtually every program, not just Nigerian program or our program, you get people, trying to best the system. And the truth is that you have to be extremely careful. Stay with the direct link that has been announced. Avoid any link that is suspicious. No money is required to apply. No money is required to be paid for training. I understand your angst about certain trainings and interviews you've done in the past. I am unfortunately unable to speak for NISA, but what we've done with NYIF is to ensure that we guide against some of these difficulties. So far, we've had people apply, and we intend to be transparent. We're going to, as we start the first batch and the second batch for training, we intend to provide the names of beneficiaries. And I think when you go through the frequently asked questions, the processes, the detailed processes are there. Training is done by FDI partners, certified by CBN and NISA. My permanent secretary is not here, but we'll be able to put more information on our website, either on the ministry's website or NOIA. I know that the first batch is supposed to start training shortly. As soon as we get final approval and clearances, you go to a stage of training. And then there's another stage that follows before you can get to that last part. We will reconsider and look at what you said, because we're just trying to avoid double dipping, where you have a single youth benefiting from funds from 3 different initiatives of government when another youth has not even benefited from one. So that's double or triple dipping. But it's also important to note that even those that have applied for one have not even been called or have not received. We'll find a way to build in a flexibility so So that if there's proof that you applied for one in March and November you've not gotten, then you should not reasonably be denied from applying for NYIF because you have basically not gotten anything. I think that's very fundamental. And I'm sure that the ministry staff are taking note. We're going to find a way. If it's clearly identified that you applied, you've not benefited, we'll check the database with NISA and we'll give you this opportunity. So I think it's important that we follow and get the right information about this. There's a lot of information flying around, but the best place to come is to the ministry and also to the website that we have. Let me speak to the last person who spoke about sports. And I think you made a good point talking about where are the youth involved when it comes to coaching, but also refereeing. You didn't mention refereeing. This is my response. The ministry working through NFF. I know NFF and La Liga in the last 3 years have been organizing annual training for young coaches. I know this year we brought 250 youth or young coaches from across the country for 1 week for training different levels of coaching. I was there on the final day to present certificates to all of them. This is the 3rd year running La Liga has been doing this. We have asked NFF to please expand this program so that it can involve more people. But also apart from coaching, refereeing is also important. I agree with you that unless we start to create platforms and opportunities for our youth who are interested in sports, in coaching, to get the requisite training so that they can be, qualified for employment, we'll end up with a coaching rank and file that does not have youth participating. And truth be told, whether it's coaching, whether it's refereeing, whether it's actual sports, the youth are the ones that are largely involved. I will take this message back to the NFF. We'll look at what other programs they have for coaching young ones. Beyond the La Liga one, we'll ask them to deliberately also organize several coaching clinics, short courses. But let me also say this. We have the NIS, National Institute of Sports, is one of the agencies under the ministry. The NIS is one of the reputable training institutes in Africa. So many of our coaches now, Nick Media and the rest, actually, most of them actually got certified from NIS. And NIS is still there. And I know they train every year, 2 to 3 batches. It's important to go to the Nigerian Institute of Sports NIS website. You can apply and then pay and do the 3 months, the 6 months, even the 1 year coaching course that they have there. I just attended a meeting this morning. It's called FIFA Forward, with the president of FIFA, the secretary general of FIFA, with about 11 ministers of youth and sports from different African countries, 14 ministers of sports, in fact. And I did speak. FIFA Forward is an African-focused program that seeks to deepen youth development in sports, particularly football, as the case is. And beyond just those that play the game, the value chain of football and those involved, the technical bench, the coaches, the referees, and all of that. So FIFA Forward is a fund and a program that will help African countries to develop their football talents, looking at the grassroots from the secondary school. And as we get the details, I think there might be a window for the last speaker and several others are interested. Again, it's important. This information can only be made available on our website, through the NFF, and also social media. So we should watch out for this information. And then if we're not satisfied with the detailed information we get, we can always reach back. There are channels to reach back. Yes, I want to see more of our youth on the technical crew of the senior Eagles, the under 20, the under 17, etc. And I think that we will take this to mind. I know that even what we have now, there are some of them that are assistant coaches. They are also very young, but we will try to create a window that gives them opportunity early enough so that 5 years down the road, they can also become experts in this area. I thank you very much. Finally, I think we've got a chart on the platform, which I want to bring up. It's a proposal on a multi-purpose solar kiosk for different services. You know, you can use it for mini salons, barbing salons, mama put, POS center. Yes, that proposal came to the ministry. I reviewed that proposal. I've sent it forward to the relevant department. If you have not gotten a letter inviting you over, I'll be surprised. But we're going to look at it. I saw the solar multi-purpose solar kiosk. It's fantastic. It's mobile. You can do a lot of services with it. It's just a fantastic idea. And I think that we will make sure that the ministry invites you. We normally invite people that have written proposals to go and do a presentation, develop a plan of action, and then know what to do beyond that. So I'm committing to the fact that the ministry will call you, the multi-purpose solar kiosk for services. You did put up a very detailed chart, and I did notice that, and I wanted to speak to that. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, we were able to locate Mr. George Enema, and this is what he said, sir. He said his questions were along the lines of, seconds, I'm trying to, he said, what's happening for the National Youth Day, which is the 1st of November, sir? He has also spoken about the volunteer. You spoke a while ago, you mentioned that there will be some kind of volunteer opportunity for Nigerian youth, because he says the issue that Nigerian youth have is they are not unemployed, but they are underemployed. And he feels volunteerism would be an avenue for them to ramp up better employment, as well as get better skills. So that's from Mr. George Enema. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I think, George, you're right. You know, we're dealing with two different categories when we talk about unemployment. You want to look at those that are unemployed completely and those that are underemployed, you know, and I think that there's more focus on those that are underemployed, because then they have relevant skills, but because they can't find jobs in industries and companies where their skills can be better utilized, they take some other jobs just to stay employed. You know, the question of volunteerism is a culture that is not yet fully developed here in Nigeria, but I know that we have a partnership with Choose Life NGO. The Choose Life NGO is also working on a model for volunteerism, and I think that the idea of having a Nigerian Volunteers League has come up. And once it's fully developed, we'll be able to come forward with it. We think that it should be privately driven. I attended a webinar about 3 weeks ago, and it was focused on developing a culture of volunteerism across board. Because while you volunteer, you can also get requisite experience. You can network. We've seen how just by merely volunteering, people have ended up with fantastic jobs and opportunities. The meeting we had with about 10 private companies, we agreed that we're going to form a Nigerian Volunteers League that would develop a template for engagement, because we must have a document. I did commit that I was going to take a policy forward to the Federal Executive Council to kind of establish a Nigerian Volunteer League that will be mostly youth focused. And then we're going to have implementation partners and the industries we focus on. This has come up today. We're noting it down. And I'm sure down the line, since we intend to continue this virtual meeting, even up till for a year, we want to sustain it. We'll be able to come back to you to say, this is how far we've gone. When we go to council with the memo, you will know about it. When we put the policy out for people to contribute, we'll make it an open thing so that we can develop a culture of volunteerism. I did work overseas for like 10 years as a journalist, and I saw what it means to volunteer. It's a high calling, and it's a culture that we must imbibe. And I think that we will work on that quickly. We'll put it as one of our top agenda items. Thank you so much, George. I know you've been waiting for a long time. That's why I insisted I wanted them to call you to hear your contribution. It turns out that your contribution is fantastic. So get ready to join the Nigerian Volunteers League as we develop the template and then give our youth the opportunity to volunteer. Kemi, do I still have the floor?
Yes, sir, you still have the floor, sir.
Yeah, can I make the announcement that I have for today?
Yes, sir, you can, sir.
Are we rounding up so that people can go to the mosque? I know those some have left already.
Yes, sir, we did promise to finish by 2 o'clock today, so we've just gone 6 minutes over, but that's okay, sir. We forgive you. So
All
we
right.
can round up now, sir.
All right. At the beginning of the protest and at the beginning of the virtual town hall meeting, we did mention that we want to create a chat room for the Nigerian youth, the youthnigeria.com. The chat room has been opened today. It's a test run presently, and we just want our youth. We're going to post the link. We want our youth to go there and see it. It's going to be on a test run for the next 2 weeks. We'll leave somewhere there a function where you can give us feedback. But presently, it's the youthnigeria.com. Youthnigeria, one word.com. That's the chat room for the Nigerian youth. And it simply says, have your say. Connect with other youth and speak up on issues that concern you. And you have various chat rooms. There's a chat room on tech and innovation. You can come in with your ideas. There's a chat room on youth development. You can come in with your ideas. There's a chat room on end police brutality. You can come in with what needs to be done. You can come in, there's a chat room on good governance. Then you can have a guest chat room where you have different guests that will come on as special guests, so you can go there. If you can see me, I'm going to run through. I have the chat room open on my phone. Now, like I said, this is just a test run. It's still a work in progress, but wanted to just let you know that we are working on something. You can see different. And for now, this is what we're starting with. As soon as we're able to tighten it up, we're going to now migrate to the NG. We're going to migrate to the NG so that we can have the level of security we need for this chat room. But, we operate on social media. We need to get this going. It's just a chat room, but we're going to migrate to NG. In fact, we're in touch with NITA already. We're going to work with them so that we can migrate to NG. We're clearly mandated to go the NG way, and we'll do that. And I thank the youth who is on this platform. That's Adebumi Akimbo. Say Naira can do it. We'll do it. But this is the chat room. There are different categories of chat rooms. I'll be on the chat room to answer questions on tech innovation, youth development, end police brutality, good governance. But then we have guest chat room. We have individuals that will speak to some of these issues when it comes to governance. You can see myself. You can see Joshua will come on to talk about sports, coaches, and all of that. Areas that really interest the youth of our country. And we think this chat room is very important. It's a test run right now. If you have any ideas, any comments, let's have them for the next 2 weeks. We're going to try and perfect this chat room. And then we'll launch it with an NG. And then we'll make sure we keep it alive.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, sir. At that point, I'd like to thank everybody for joining this meeting. I would like to remind us that this meeting takes place every Friday at the same time with the exact same link. During the week. Yes, sir.
Can we just take a quick poll? Is 12 p.m. on Friday okay, or do we change the time so that we can have greater participation? I'm sensitive a bit to those that have to go off for prayers. Is there a way we can get a feel? Do we change the time? We can decide that now. And then from Wednesday of every week or Tuesday, we'll make sure that the information about the next virtual meeting on Friday goes out 2 or 3 days ahead of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So I'm monitoring the comments now. Joy says 12 p.m. is good. Sakina says, please change the time. Sakina, could you suggest a good time? That would be much better for you. Let's just do this in literally 30 seconds, guys. 12 p.m. is good. I've got 2 12s. I've got 11 a.m. 2 times. 12 is fine. 11 is good. 11 will be okay. Okay, so we would look into 12 is good. So we've got a lot of 11s and a lot of 12 is good. So I don't know which works with you, Honorable Minister, sir.
Someone said 7 a.m.
She says she's in the US, sir.
Okay, what I think we should do is, I think we should pull it forward. If we start at 11, we can run through for 3 hours.
Yes, sir.
11, 12, 1 o'clock. And that frees everybody up. I see a lot of 12. I see a lot of 11. I think we should do 11. Yeah. That's 2. Let me just make this announcement.
Yes, sir.
In August this year, the Federal Executive Council, after we presented from the ministry a memo asking for the establishment of a National Youth Day, the President approved November 1st as the National Youth Day for Nigerian youth, a day to focus on the issues that affect the Nigerian youth, provide solutions that are practicable and timely, but also that has a couple of other activities, reward the ingenuity and innovative skills of our youth, and also have a competition around all the states in the Federation. The maiden edition, the very first one, takes place on Sunday, November 1st, where we've invited, I think, 5 youth from across the country. We invited the Nigerian Youth Parliament. We're going to make sure that this is streamed live so that the other youth that are not here can be part of it. And we're bringing on the winners of our 60-day app challenge, who are all youth, about 10 of them. We're also going to have 5 of our youth innovators from different parts of the country who will showcase what they have been able to develop, design, and create. And they also get cash awards that will support them as entrepreneurs. So we look forward to you joining us on either live stream or other social media platforms or even on television to be part of the first ever National Youth Day. There'll be quite a number of our youth that will also speak directly to the issues that we have. And we know that key government officials will be there to also join us. Next year is going to move to another state because each year we have a state that will host it. We had just less than 2 months to put this together. So I'm sure next year we're going to have 1 year to put it together. A state will be announced through a draw that will host it. There'll be a job fair. There are about 9 different activities that will be involved. But what you're going to have on Sunday is just a miniature one because of the timing. By next year, it will become more physical. More people will be able to go to the state. And that's what we have for now. So November 1 is the approved National Youth Day. Finally, let me say, the Nigerian Online Youth Assembly, NOYA, is an important platform. It's linked to our website, the ministry's website. You can also visit that website. It's up and running. Information is critical. Unless you apply yourselves to the opportunities available, unless you can feed us back on some of these issues that you have in real time, we cannot be able to meet up with your demands and your aspirations. We are here to serve you. We've gone to work to make sure that we'll give our youth the support they need in a timely fashion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, sir. Thank you to everyone for joining. That brings our meeting for today to an end, to a close. We'll be here again, I believe now, 11 a.m. Nigerian time, West African time, next week, Friday. But do visit the 2 websites, noya.ng, youthandsport.gov.ng, youthandsport.gov.ng. And you can get much more information. And please ensure you are following us on Twitter as well. That's very important. Set up your Twitter notifications for Nigeria FMYS. Nigeria FMYS. Or you can follow the Honorable Minister, Sunday Dare SD, on Twitter. That's the only way you will not miss any opportunities that are available to young Nigerians. Thank you so much, everybody. And please do have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Great job.